right. Welcome to episode 9 of the Bikini Besties podcast. I'm Lauren Kralovic, and this is
Kaylia Rhodes.
Stephanie Warden.
And you may notice we have a few extra guests. The beanbags are crowded today because we actually brought our guys.
Finally.
So they made it today, today's episode. So you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Anthony. I'm Lauren's boyfriend.
I'm Zach. I'm Steph's husband.
And I'm Ronnie. I'm Kaylia's husband.
And we're going to hear their thoughts on being with bikini competitors and being boyfriends, husbands, and all things bikini at home. But before we do that, we're going to get into our regular prep updates. So, Steph, you want to start? Or
I'm Kaylia.
I'm like, she's
I
not
can see how
looking
you got
at
that
me.
one confused.
I know.
You guys just look so much alike.
Right.
Is this what it's like when we're not here?
All right. I'll go.
You go.
It was a long.
Steph
wanna be
usually
Steph
goes
again,
first,
right? I
but
know.
Steph
It
wanted
was
to
a
go
long
last.
drive yesterday.
Okay.
All
I'll
right,
go.
Steph,
Steph's
let us
going to go
know.
last.
She usually goes first.
I know.
We are 4 weeks out from Junior USA's. And yeah, I got to do an in-person check-in. I went to Wasatch Warrior to watch Steph. She's going to talk all about it. But got to meet Paul in person again and do like a little in-person check-in and just talked about like my suit bottom cut hair and just some couple posing things. But yeah, it was pretty simple. We did last week. I ate. I was eating pretty high carb for me for a whole week, and then working down cardio. Kind of have like a recovery week again. We kind of do that a lot. We do like push and then recover, push, recover. And so it was one of the recovery weeks. And then now we're back to pushing. So we slashed my food and from what I was eating. And we're 3 days into that. And now we're putting cardio back in. We tried to not do any cardio for a couple days with the low food because I asked if we could do that. And it didn't really work in my favor. So we're adding the cardio back. So cardio is being added in, and yeah, so we're just gonna be pushing for a bit and then recover. And so I think how he phrased it was we're gonna kind of like deplete, push, recover, mock peak week, deplete, push, mock peak week, deplete, push, mock peak, and then the real peak week. So that's kind of the plan. Hopefully, if all goes well, we need to lose a couple more pounds in the glute ham tie-in area, and yeah, so that's it. That's my update. I finally booked everything for Junior USA's.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Did
We
it.
are
Big
going.
win.
We are going. It was very expensive. Going to Charleston, South Carolina is a month out is very expensive. So yeah, it'll be good. Yep.
I'm glad you finally got everything booked.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
For
been an
real. It's for
ongoing
real now.
thing. Well, let's see. Okay, so I did get to meet my coach this weekend in person, which was super cool. Being at Wasatch, it was really awesome just to see how many coaches were there and people we knew. I didn't do an in-person check-in, but I had a check-in right before we headed down there. And no changes again, which is nice because we're making progress even though it's slow. We're still getting progress in like little... about a pound down again this week. And then it just makes a huge difference if you plan all your food and you stick to all your main things even when you're traveling. So I got all of my exact same normal meals in pretty much. I think I swapped out like one thing for some rice cakes just to make it easy for travel. And then we even on Sunday made sure to do all our cardio before we even left Salt Lake, and down in a little bit more again today. So I got a new low this morning.
Yay.
So
Nice.
yay.
Nice.
So I can't wait to check in again this week and probably just keep on chipping away until we finally get into like a predictable amount of leanness to be able to decide on a show schedule. But it's going to be a little ways out. But I'm happy we're making progress week to week so far. So
Awesome.
Was that your first time meeting Cash?
yes,
Coach?
officially.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
like I've seen him at shows before, like
Mhm.
in person, or like been in the same vicinity
Yeah,
and everything.
but-
But as my coach, it was my first time seeing him in person.
Cool. Yay. That's
awesome.
exciting.
That's awesome.
Maybe we can get into it later, but like, how was it seeing him coach athletes in person? Like it's like kind of like a weird like third person like point of view. Like he's coaching you, but you also get to see him coach other athletes on your team at the same
Him in
time.
action.
Yeah, it's kind of actually exciting because you're
Yeah.
like, that's going to be me next time. Like, you see how he's like so focused and watching her on stage. I can see him up in the VIP section watching her. And I'm like, that's what he's going to be there for me
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But soon as in, a couple months.
That'll go fast.
But-
Yeah, sooner than you think.
I think it was more exciting than anything else just to see his dedication in there. He only had one athlete in the show, and he lives in the Midwest, and he came all the way over to Utah to watch her and be there for her and support her. So it's just kind of cool to see him and his dedication to his athletes. So it was really kind of fun to see that.
Yeah, that's kind of a huge thing for me too with Wasatch is Shane's always running all over the place to all of his athletes. So I was excited to be the athlete he was running to. But no, Wasatch was amazing. I did it last year as an amateur competitor. So it was fantastic to come back as a pro competitor and kind of even just comparing the two. It was a really, really good prep. I achieved conditioning that I've never achieved before, and so being able to I think my two big wins was conditioning and posing. So my posing I thought was the best it's ever been. I felt really confident on stage, and I think this is the first time I'm not going to be changing much about my posing routine, so I'm excited to kind of settle into it, add personality to it, and just basically work on exactly the same thing as opposed to changing things. So that was super exciting. I ended up in second call outs at a huge show. So there was 36 bikini pros and 5 Olympians. And so it was also just inspiring to be backstage with so many amazing athletes and Olympians and just making friends and seeing, just how they conduct themselves backstage as well was fantastic. So in terms of plans, I'm still staying on plan, pushing, and we're hopefully going to compete again in about maybe 6 weeks or so. So I'm just kind of waiting to hear from Shane a little bit more on what we really want to work on. But I think the overall thing in terms of feedback is just tightening up a little bit, especially in the glute ham tie. So I'm right there with you in those next couple pounds.
It's
So
always the
it'll
area.
be
hardest
fun.
part.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So no, I'm super excited. And then even just comparing, I know one of the questions was amateur to pro in terms of what the differences are. So I think with Wasatch, I guess the timing of everything is a little bit more consistent and on time for the pros, which I know they make a special effort to do, which I super appreciated. And so we were on stage, starting prejudging at 12 exactly, and then we started finals at 6, so everything was really well run and we were in and out of there. So it was easy also to peak and also like pump up on time and things like that, which wasn't as specific as an amateur because we were kind of waiting just to see, will we get on before the pros start, because they stopped the pros they stopped the amateur show hard stop at 12. So I think this show they were also able to get through all the amateurs before 12, which was great, but there's always that waiting game. So that was a big change. I think other than that, the check-ins was amazing for the pros in terms of all the goodies we got and taking photos together and all of that. So it was just a fantastic experience all around. So yeah. But I think we wanted to get into Q&As for us as well as our significant others.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did notice, and maybe we can talk about it later, but like being on Team Hughley versus past teams, like I noticed, maybe it was just because Shane's from Utah, but like the team aspect of it,
Oh yeah,
like
that's true.
kind of like before,
Yeah,
like they had that whole little corner right outside the backstage area.
it was very detailed.
Yeah, his
and,
wife
yeah.
was like there fixing the competitors' hair right before they went on.
Mm-hmm, fixing
touching
tan, all
touching
that
things
stuff.
up, and like I don't know, how was that for you? Because like just watching it, like to me it was just different,
Yeah,
kind of like
Well ran.
yeah. Like I've seen
Supported.
Mhm.
Like they've done this a time or two.
yeah,
like I've seen like Fit Body Fusion, like their team. I've seen them do it like at past
Mhm.
shows. I've just never.
Yeah.
You've never been a part of a team.
No, and
where
it
like
was
they've
good.
actually
yeah.
had a full like team there and like people there
yeah.
basically waiting on you hand and foot to get you
Yeah.
into backstage.
Get me all ready. Yeah. No, I felt really supported, and it makes you feel really confident, I guess, and just ready to go, right? Because everything is just meticulous. So, No, I thought it was a great experience. It was a great experience.
And I know Kaylia and I were sitting together watching both prejudging and finals. And when Steph first came on for that first comparison round, we both were looking at each other like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Because honestly, your pose and your front pose, your waist just looked insane.
Yeah, like
It was so impressive.
and I just love that was like her thing that
It
she's
was.
always like focused on, and
Yeah.
it like came together,
Yeah.
And it
literally.
looked so
Right?
good.
You're like, hit it right, hit it right, hit it right. Oh, yes, okay, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beyond exciting to watch you on stage.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I was really
awesome.
glad we were all there to support you and be
Yeah.
there. And
See you in person.
Yes,
Fun.
I wish we could always see
I
everyone.
almost,
in person.
I wish we could all
I
go
know.
always.
all travel together. We had a lot of travel weekends.
Mhm.
Right?
You down?
I know.
Of course.
He's like,
Yeah.
Almost got to like
Say
come
yes.
up with our own team.
oh my gosh. Bikini Besties.
Bikini Besties team.
Oh hey,
We just do
don't get me started on
podcasts
business
everywhere
ideas.
we go.
but
Yeah.
All right, so we ready to jump into some Q&A?
Yes.
Thanks again for
Yes.
everyone who submitted questions. We
Mhm.
love hearing from you and what you want to hear. So please
them
watch for
coming.
our question boxes in the future too, because we want to make sure that we answer your questions.
Maybe kind of real quick, kind of related to that. Kaylia's experience right at as we were leaving finals, the girl who came up to you was
Oh,
like a huge fan
yeah.
of the podcast.
Yeah, there was a girl that came up to me at Wasatch and introduced herself and said like, "Thank you for what we do and putting out this kind of content and talking and being real and like." I don't know. What did she? She just wanted to introduce herself and say thank you, and that she like looks up to us and like what we're doing and
Yeah.
who we are and how we are together as friends and the information we talk about. And so that was really cool. So
And she
Yeah.
said she had listened to every
Every-
episode.
yes, every episode.
Shout out to
And
that
she-
person.
Yes.
All 8.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
so yeah, if you like see us, I mean, we're gonna be traveling all year, so to shows and
Mhm.
things, and so if you see us, definitely come say hi, come tell us what you like about the podcast. We'd love to get like a picture with you
Take a
and stuff like
selfie.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, we're gonna jump into it. First question, pretty easy. How you include your partner in the process?
And the prep
Mm.
competing process.
Yeah, so we got a mix of 2 people who compete that are couples, and then half and halves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how do you include your partner? So Kaylia, how do you include Ronnie in the process?
feel like
of
I don't.
competing?
I'm just gonna be honest. I feel like include because I choose to do it pretty like he doesn't compete or anything, and we do very different sports. So you do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I do bodybuilding, and so our like training is totally different, like completely different. And so I go to the gym, and I also don't love workout partners.
That's fair.
So I like just to go in and work out and do my thing. And then I wake up significantly earlier than him, so I'm up doing my cardio, like, and we have very different like schedules, and but I try to get my like competing stuff done, kind of before the evening time, because that's kind of when we come together, is more the evening time, dinner and stuff like that. So, I mean, he comes with me to all my shows, so there will never be a show that he's not at, I don't think, like, unless, like, I don't even know the unless, but,
Yeah.
yeah, so he does, I do make sure he comes to all my shows, and, because I never want to, like, if one of my goals are achieved, like, I never want him to not be there, like,
Mhm.
if I get a
Yeah.
pro card, or, whatever
Yeah.
it is, like,
Yeah.
I never want him to not be there experiencing it with me, and, I also need help, and so, but, yeah, so I do it very separately, but he comes with me, and
Yeah.
we watch Olympia and things. I
Yes.
make him watch all the shows with
Yeah.
me. There we go. Yeah,
He knows.
he does know some bikini stuff.
Yeah.
So.
That's an understatement. I know all the
All the
bikinis.
Low?
How do I include you in prep? Well, so Anthony also competes as a 212 IFBB pro.
As you can tell.
So we actually both were competing and had coaches and preps and stuff before we even met each other. So it's something that we both have been doing separately since before we knew each other. And we've been together 3.5 years now.
4, who's counting?
It'll be 4 before this summer. Almost.
We're coming up on 4.
Coming up on 4.
We're the babies of the group.
So we both kind of had to, we kind of like merged our prep lives together. So we started doing things like we bulk prep foods together, like our chicken and our rice. Like we make enough for each other we share prepping that. And, you know, like when we're both in prep, because we did that in 2021 and again this year, like we'll do like posing sessions together. We photograph or film each other at the gym or things like that. And then we both go to each other's shows. I don't think we've been to a show without each other since we've been together. Actually, that's a lie. Very first show, I went to North Americans.
We weren't together yet, though.
Technically, we weren't dating.
Technically.
Right after. But ever since then, we've been to every single show together.
That's awesome.
But what I think we like to do to like include each other in it too is like we share our successes. Like if we've had a low weight or a high weight or something, like a goal that we're trying to achieve, we like share it with each other and really try to like, you know, celebrate that together and encourage each other and support each other through that. And then for every show, we like to make an experience. Like we go like to a date night or do something fun afterwards. So, yeah.
I guess I kind of do the same with
mingled.
I every like check-in I
know
get.
what her weight is
Yeah, he
every
knows
day.
what my weight is. He knows what my check-in update is. He knows like what food I'm
I
eating,
know
not
what the
eating.
plan is. I knew about the deplete and mock peak week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
I keep him updated.
Steph?
Yeah, I do something similar. So most of my check-ins I send both to Shane and then also to Zach.
The sous chef.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so he does put together most of my meals. I'll send him like this is exactly what I need in each meal, and if I don't get to it, he really does help me do that. And then cardio. Sometimes I hate doing cardio at night. So I try really hard to get it done in the morning, but in the event that I'm busy that day and I have like half an hour left or 40 minutes left, then I ask him to come with me. And so usually, because I have an apartment gym, and so usually we'll go together and he'll watch football or something. But I just like his energy being next to me, especially when it's late at night and I don't know if I'm going to make it this time. But yeah, no, I think that's the main parts of it. Also, like as I get, deeper into prep, we usually try to do activities that are more prep friendly. I don't love planning a ton of things for the weekend. And so sometimes if I'm really low energy, like he'll plan like a little date night or something that we can go do that's usually prep friendly. So that's always really helpful. When I am like 2 to 3 weeks out, cleaning the house becomes less of a priority. And so usually he'll pick up the slack a little bit when I want a nap. So yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Here's a question for the boys. Asking as a first-time competitor, how can he best support me on show day?
How can another husband best support?
Well, she'll come up with stuff. she'll
tell you what to do.
Yeah,
She'll tell you what to do.
There'll be stuff that needs to be done, and it'll come up. Like, carry my water bottle, or, just whatever. Carry
I'll
this
make a
bag.
to-do list.
How
Oh,
does
show
this
day.
pose look? Which I guess might be more relevant for me because Kaylia never shuts up about posing. So
That's fair.
I might know more about that specific aspect than the average bikini husband. But yeah,
I think on show
she'll
day.
come up with
Show
stuff,
day
and then you
stuff.
just
Yeah, I'll just kind of
be
keep him
nice.
in the know of like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, this is when check-ins are. This is when I have to be at the gym. And like, just kind of make just so he knows the schedule, so that he can be ready and he can be just ready to go. On show weekend, it is the weekend where it is all about you, the
Yeah.
competitor. Like it is at that time that's your selfish little weekend, and it revolves around you until you get home. And so just keeping him in the know on things. I think I don't know, just being there, like whatever you need. Whether it's sometimes it's like, hey, can you warm up this food, or hey, can you get me water, or hey, can you while I'm multitasking over here. Like it's just stuff like that.
Just
Make
as a
sure she
support.
doesn't walk into traffic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm terrible at paying attention when I
That's funny.
travel. I just don't pay. When I'm with him, I just don't pay attention because I'm just like, he's got me.
Yeah.
And so like whether we're trying to figure out an airport or what, and you're tired, like you're
Yeah.
trying to make sure you're thinking of like everything you have to get done and do.
Mhm.
And so I rely 100% on him to make sure I get off the plane, to an Uber, to the hotel, sorry, to the Airbnb, like, yeah, and that I'm alive.
That's fair.
You're
Zach,
often in foreign cities and
That's
stuff
fair.
too. So
Zach helps a lot with my tan on show
Yeah.
day, so that's a big one.
Anthony
Um,
learned that this year too.
Yeah,
Or
yes,
last-
that's a
last year.
huge one. So yeah, you're pretty meticulous with it. It's good.
Yeah, I would say I would echo a lot like what Ronnie says. You just kind of tell me what you need and what we need to get done in order to facilitate like just an easy day.
hmm The directions is a huge one. So like I know
Yep.
Salt Lake, there was a lot of like
That was a lot of traffic.
yeah, and street closures, and so I was
Mhm.
like, so get me there.
Yeah,
Be my
just-
Uber.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
trying to make sure because I know, I mean, from my just history and playing sports for as long as I did, I know that it's just easier if things are streamlined as easily as possible
Yeah.
on game day or for you guys on show day. So
Mhm.
just trying to make
Minimize stress.
Yeah, minimize stress. Exactly, that's the best way to put it. Yeah,
Mhm.
just trying to take care of as many little things so she doesn't have to worry about it. Like when we were in Utah, just saying, hey, I'm just gonna drop you off at the front, then I'll go find parking. Just
Yeah, that
you
helps a
you
lot.
just get inside, get checked in. I'll take care of the rest. If you want to leave your
Yep.
bag, fine, I'll grab
Bring
it.
my stuff.
And then I don't know, right before on stage, and it was one of those things that it helped me when I was an athlete. Like my dad would always come and give me a little pep talk, either before the wrestling tournament started or right before the football game kicked off. And so I try to, if I can, go backstage or just right out backstage and just talk with her and just try to clear her head because I know her and she not necessarily doesn't like the spotlight, and so just being on stage and the bright lights and everything, just
Yeah.
bring her down a little bit because I know that if you can tell the difference I've seen with her from earlier shows to now. If she can calm herself down right before stage, at least bring it down just a little bit. She just looks more relaxed on stage. She looks more, her posing is more tied together. It's more routine. So I just try to give her a pep talk like, hey, you work so hard. This is it. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Go out there and have fun. Go out there and do what you do. You've already put in the time and the effort. Go out there and just kill it. Like go out there and do what you've already been doing for the last, 8 weeks.
Just in front of
So,
judges.
yeah. now on the stage.
But yeah.
Supporting the.
I mean, I think the other guys kind of just nailed it. The biggest thing, probably just be available. Like it's her moment. You know what I mean? When it comes to show day, it's definitely her moment. Throughout prep, not always. Sometimes it's my moment, too. Whether I'm competing or not. But when it comes to like show day and competition and stuff, absolutely. Like, she comes first, and just anything I can do to just ease the process. Positive affirmations really go a long way too. Somebody's got to be have that positive
Yes.
mental attitude because
It
as
gets
you
hard,
girls
yeah.
know and the guys probably know too, is like the fluctuations of
Emotions.
are just like through the roof. Like one day we can look great, we're gonna nail it, and the next minute it's just like I look like shit, babe.
Yeah.
And it's just like you know what I mean? So it's just important to be that foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think
constant
that's the
support.
biggest thing.
Next question. This is kind of a diss on the guys, but maybe not Anthony. But how does it feel to have a significant other stronger than you? Love listening to you guys.
Well,
I wouldn't know the answer to that. I'm really strong.
Okay, that made me, you know what it made me just think about is like when I first was moving to Boise, you guys were doing all those pull-up competitions.
and I
Do you
won.
remember? Do you
Yeah.
remember this?
She
Yes.
used Versa grips, which is cheating.
And I won by like one. I think one year I won by half a pull up, and the next year I won by like one pull up. And then you won. I think maybe
I think
you did
I won
win.
one of them, and
That's
also
funny.
one of the ones that you won. It was like a quarter of a pull up.
It was a half pull up. I have it on video. I will send it to Cody and he'll put it in the thing. But I'm stronger. I think I'm stronger in the gym on some things. There's some things where I'm not gonna. It's just I'm
Yeah.
a girl. Come on,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Hip
be
thrust.
stronger. Yeah, I'm definitely stronger on hip thrusts and like deadlifting because I like that's what I do. I train
I
it
deadlift
or not
like
deadlifting.
135 pounds.
Yeah, I guess not RDL, not deadlift, but like that's what I do every day. But who's like actually stronger? There's no way I can get away from him. He's like
Yeah.
now he does.
Watch her try to get away right now.
He does jujitsu, so his thing is to like literally not let grown men,
Yeah.
you know, double his size probably.
I think
get
I mean was I think somebody was might have been just kind of funny with that question.
You're right.
Yeah, obviously, because I'm just
Yeah.
like Zach's a
No.
an
yeah.
athlete and a
Yeah.
wrestler.
He definitely is stronger
Yes,
than
it's a
me.
joke.
But when I take him through my glute days, I don't know.
I was gonna say I will say that. I mean, I have my own workouts, but I definitely turn to you for like glute and hamstring days, just because I know that
That's what they know.
Yeah, I'm
we
just
know.
like, yeah, that's what she does. I might as well
True.
do it. But I will say, after we went to a strongman competition, like you guys, the pull-up thing reminded me. They were doing the, doing the holds where they hold things out
Yeah.
to the side.
Oh yeah.
Well, we did a competition, and she definitely beat me.
Yep. Yep.
We did
Yeah.
that with
Oh,
water
yeah,
or milk jug or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
We
Right.
did it
Oh my
with a
gosh. Were
yeah.
they the same
That was
weight?
years ago.
No.
I think she did
No, I did a
5
little
pounds
bit
and I
less.
did 10.
Yeah, we just did it back to back like a
We just did it
crucifix
back to
kinda.
back.
Yeah, yeah. But no, he's
The
definitely
girls aren't weak
stronger.
by any means.
No, no. I will say this: she definitely looks better in a bikini than I do.
But again, debatable.
Yeah. Well, you've brought up to me. I don't know if you want to talk about like how you kind of like grew respect for bikini competitors because
Yeah, I mean, before I dated Lo, like I've just been bodybuilding for a long time, and bikini was like kind of new to me.
Yeah.
When I met Lauren and stuff like that, I didn't like take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And but I was just like, I saw the amount of work that you guys put in
Mhm.
with like the 2 hours of. I know it's not like that all the time.
Yeah.
But like 2 hours of cardio and like the low food and just like you got to hit the workouts just like we
Mhm.
do. You got to suffer and starve just like we do. I mean, in all honesty, I think it's probably it's harder
Mhm.
because the cardio is insane. Like
Yes.
the amount of steps that you have to get
Yeah.
to drop.
And then the
and-
detail with all the things, like
Yeah,
the makeup
the
and
extra-
Yeah,
The
suit,
whole
hair,
I-
makeup,
thing.
tan,
Yeah.
pose, or they have to post, but
Full
Yeah.
respect. Absolutely. It's
Good.
just as difficult as any other portion of the sport.
Mhm.
All right, next question. For the guys, what's your favorite part about your girl while she's in prep?
Oh.
well, in prep or out of prep.
Dead ass. The tie-ins and the dimple,
Well, like, I don't
That was
know.
my response, by the way.
Yeah.
nailed it.
Anthony had that one
That's
ready.
it.
Anthony is
Oh,
ready to
no.
ready.
Yeah, I don't. Is there anything that's good about prep other than the way that they look?
So the monster that comes out.
Oh
Got a
my
point.
god.
Good point.
Because I mean, Kaylia is really easy to deal with, and I feel like I'm far away from this, but Kaylia is really easy to deal with. But every aspect of her is better when she's not prepping. Exactly the way she looks. She's got more time. She's
Yeah.
nicer.
More energy, I guess.
Yeah, more energy.
More energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I don't know. I'm trying to think too. I'm like,
It's better. in
I
prep.
was on the Anthony train of.
I
My
would
cooking
say-
is better off of prep too. I don't
yeah,
know.
cooking. Trying to think. I feel like I get more snacks to myself.
That's
oh,
true.
you eat
Yes.
more.
That
I
is
get
true.
I get more
Yes.
snacks to
That's one
myself
thing.
because
That's
usually
true.
like when you're not on prep,
Oh, we're sharing.
we have to share.
We're
I'll
sharing.
share. But as soon as
And
she goes
that's
on
like-
prep, I can have like the snacks that I like, and they're all to myself.
I like I'm like the opposite of a lot of people, but I will encourage him to eat bad because I'm like
yeah, I eat worse.
I want this, so I can't have it, but I need you to have it, and then I just want to like know what it's like.
Yeah. yeah.
And so
I
like
experienced that after Wasatch. I was making this bowl of oatmeal,
oh,
and
yeah.
she's on the couch, and she's like, and things I wasn't even thinking of putting in the oatmeal. She's like, crumble an Oreo on top. I'm
Yeah,
like,
try some
oh,
of this, try
yeah,
some of that.
try put this and that.
should
I'm like,
cut
so
up
I
your crumble
experienced
cookie
that.
and put
It was
it in there.
amazing.
you should put
It
your
was
trail
good.
mix in it. Me.
Kaylia
I was
from the
brushing her on
couch
how
was
to make
telling
her
me what to
oatmeal
put in my
bowl. Oh,
oatmeal
wow.
because I had this huge bowl.
Yes,
And
amazing.
once you get her started too, she'll
I
go
don't
off
stop.
Oh yeah,
just
it was
on a
really
trail
good.
of like, and then you could do this.
And it was
Yeah,
good.
You
it
could
was
do
so
this.
good. I wasn't even thinking of all those
The
things.
whole kitchen.
I would
sink.
have the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
random weird food truck
Yeah.
food thing. That's like if when I retire, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna have a food truck, my old
With
granny
random
with my
food.
little
See,
weird.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make zero money because it's gonna have like a Cheesecake
That's so
Factory.
true.
Yes, I'm gonna have the
menu.
Cheesecake
Menu.
Factory version of a food truck.
Yes. Oh
Just
my god,
a
I love that.
billion different options.
Right.
And
Whatever you
Everything I
everything
want.
couldn't
comes
eat
in
when I was
mini.
young and hot.
Yeah.
So funny.
I have a big question. I feel like Anthony has the best answer to it. So if anybody follows Anthony, the funniest videos, I laugh so hard every time. The creamy.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Creamy
Yes.
series.
the Ninja Creamy
Mhm.
that everybody keeps on purchasing because I need my Ninja Creamy code.
Right.
Seriously.
Talk to them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
do
it's
need a
like
code.
The Creamy is obnoxious, but it gets her by. So.
Every night.
It's like my little protein dessert.
It is.
Keeps me happy at night.
Yeah, it does.
Could you
So, like,
imagine her if she didn't have it?
He's been
Well,
through
Well, I
lots of
could
preps
actually.
with
Oh,
that.
that's true,
She could.
that's
She'd
true.
just go back to her old yogurt and
That's
whatever
true.
else,
Or egg
granola,
whites.
egg whites that she used to have.
Stevia cinnamon egg whites.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's actually
Egg
I
whites and
talk a
peanut
lot
butter.
of shit about it, but it makes really
It's
good
just
ice
funny.
cream. I'm actually excited when I'm finished with my prep that I actually can start making some creamies. I'm not gonna tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
I
It stays
think
here.
it's a lifesaver for the bikini girls or just anybody in prep
Mhm.
for that matter because you can make
Like a
desserts.
low calorie
Mhm.
ice cream
Yeah.
that's on your
Yeah.
track.
Yeah, it's just almond milk and protein powder.
Mhm.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's loud.
And it's loud.
And it takes 5 million spins. Respins.
Right.
So many.
You need to make a silencer for it.
Yes.
Like,
Put it like a cookie that
Muffler.
goes
like
over
a,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a
just a
cover like
case
this.
that you put on top.
Yeah, a
That's
soundproof case.
Yeah.
It's like the drummers have.
Yeah.
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 I'm opposite of you, Kaylia. I'm like, oh, I'm in prep. I'm so glad he sticks to like those strictest meals off season because he never has to tempt me with anything in the house ever.
That's so funny.
We like literally have the most boring pantry. Like if you wanted to cheat, you'd like go in there and it's like, oh well, there's backup cream of rice and some
Nothing.
random.
Dude, our pantry does suck.
You're making me feel bad.
Right.
I got
Nobody
Kaylia handing me cheese curds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll take her down to Main Street Burger and she's got to hand me things while I'm driving home.
Yeah. I want those sweet potato fries.
Next question. What are the don'ts when dating a bikini competitor?
I'm gonna let the other guys go
You
first.
go. You go.
All the
Don't.
guys are scared.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the
Lauren's
don'ts?
telling you
What
you
are the
know the
don'ts?
don'ts.
Oh man, don't put down your credit card for the hotel as a deposit or to reserve because if those sheets turn up looking like
Yes,
shit,
the
it's gonna
tan.
come out of your pocket.
That's fair.
Excuse me.
Tan
Don't ever
mistakes.
tell them they don't look right.
Yeah, that's
Don't
true.
ever tell them to calm down.
Mm.
Don't ever-
I feel like that's
oh my
just
god!
like women
I was
in
gonna
general.
Come up with I have this Bible that I'm gonna put together, the Bikini Boyfriend Bible, and it's gonna be all these things of the experience of dating a bikini competitor,
That's true.
all sorts of shit. You know,
That's
you always
funny.
make sure she's always got 2 suits.
Yeah.
Make sure you know, like you got to
Mhm.
know where you're gonna eat at all times.
Oh,
like
that's a good
the
one.
next plan.
And
That's a
because
good
they're
one. You
women,
know.
half of it is contradictory.
Mm. Oh my god.
Oh,
Well,
We gotta throw them out. We
I
gotta throw
definitely
them
made a
out.
mistake a couple weeks ago. She sent me her check-in photos, and I meant it in the nice way,
What did you
like
say?
in a very good way. I said you look big, but I meant
Oh
it.
my god,
I-
Jack.
I meant it like
That's a Sarno kid.
yeah. I meant like her glutes are looking bigger because
Oh,
as she
okay.
like
Yes.
thins out, like
Yes.
her glutes
Oh
were starting to
my
pop
God.
more. And so I said you look big. I just didn't say what looked
What
big.
look big?
And I immediately got a text back. What did you say? Or big?
What was that? I'm sorry,
And then
huh?
I
Do you
immediately
want
had
to
to
unsend and
Right,
resend
exactly. Edit?
that? Yeah,
yeah, and then I
Sure,
immediately had
they-
to retract and like clarify what I meant.
You got to use thick and lots of C's.
Yeah.
And then there
True.
can be
That's
no
right.
True,
confusion.
very true.
And it's good. I forgot about that. It's funny.
So don't.
Yeah, biggest
Yeah.
don't.
any
Don't.
other don't.
What are the
Oh.
don'ts?
What are don'ts?
Oh, I got one. It used to be. It was a problem for us. We've kind of since got back. Like going out to eat. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like suggesting like, hey, let's just drop everything and go out to eat.
Oh
tonight
yeah,
and
he loves to
things like
spring that on me. He's like, okay, well, he'll go to the fridge and just like, oh, there's nothing. You want to go out to eat? And I'm like, I'm 3 weeks
Oh
out,
yeah,
sir.
no, that's a
I will
no.
not be going anywhere. I'm tired. but I
get
will
the
go get you
opposite.
stuff.
Yeah,
Always.
all the time. She's like,
Uber Eats.
yesterday, she's like, I don't.
I
want
was like,
to
I
cook
do
food.
not want to cook.
Just
Yeah.
please eat out.
Can you just eat out? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah, I'll
So
do
I had
that.
to take the bullet.
Yeah.
So I take the
Yeah.
bullet.
He
Not
likes to
Mexican
go
food
out
again.
and like sit in there. I'm good with takeout, but going out to sit in there for 2 hours, I'm like, no, I need
It
to
can be
sleep.
hard in prep. We've done
Yeah.
that so much recently. Like even when we went down to Salt Lake, I think you did too. You just bring your Tupperware to the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Anthony's meal was like fish and lettuce.
Oh.
He was just like
And
eating that
Cheesecake
Cheesecake
Factory.
Factory.
Oh.
We're all eating cheesecake.
Like
it's all good.
fish.
It's hard, but you know, you get
You just
get
get
used
to it,
though.
yeah.
It's just like
That
whatever.
reminds me of Paige's wedding.
Oh yeah. Oh, we
They
were
kept
miserable.
setting cake down in front of Anthony.
Were you
Oh,
prepping?
yeah, that
You were
was
probably prepping. That was a
terrible.
long time.
That was right before we
think
got
that
our pro
was-
cards.
Terrible for everyone. It was so cold and it was like wet.
I just
We were
kept
so
bringing
far
carrot
away
cake.
from home.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just kept bringing you cake that you couldn't eat.
Yeah, everybody's just like, oh man, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was hard. That was a hard one
I
for
don't-
us.
Poor
I
Paige,
don't know any other
more than
big
anyone, though.
Don't. It's just I feel like as competitors, you guys kind of make it very obvious as to what you guys are doing
Or what we
and,
need.
and what you need,
Mhm.
and then for us just to stay away from it.
So would you say like that helps you as a husband, like that she communicates what she needs? Is that like something that's like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
over
Yeah, because I before I met her, I knew nothing about bodybuilding. Like I, absolutely nothing. To me, going to the gym, I don't want to say it was punishment, but I kind of looked. I think I've talked with Anthony about this. Like when you grow up playing, like I wrestled and played football all the way through college, like being in the gym and like running and things like that. That is a punishment. Like you don't want to be there. Like you're not like necessarily choosing to be there.
Mhm.
And so going to the gym now, it's like just so different.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
So
and
yeah,
you, like,
I
make
knew
it
like
almost
nothing.
like,
yeah. I knew
nothing
zero
for
about
every
bodybuilding. I knew nothing about how to diet right, how to eat right.
Yeah, that's something that's helped quite a bit. Is
So-
like even when I'm prepping, he ends up losing weight kind of because we're just eating what I'm eating for the
Mhm.
most part.
That's cool.
You know, but yeah.
Next question.
Mhm.
What do the men do to help alleviate stress and prep?
I do a lot of yelling.
Don't do that. That's a don't.
Yeah, that was
I
just
don't really do it.
wrong
No.
question.
Just not yell.
I'm
Alleviate
actually very
stress.
quiet.
Alleviate stress.
I think-
Um,
Alleviate stress.
I pay to have the house cleaned and dog poop picked up.
Oh yes.
There you go.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Way.
You
I
pay for
don't
massages.
have
That's
house
right.
cleaner. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
true.
That does alleviate stress. I can spend it on the treadmill.
Zach will pay for extra massages for me. That alleviates
Yeah,
stress.
shout out Ginger.
Ginger,
Yeah,
yes,
Ginger.
the best.
For real.
I don't know.
One thing he lets me, that helps a lot. Like I kind of dictate our like schedule. And, I mean, it sounds like bad.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds bad coming out of my mouth, but like,
I'm very flexible.
but he's very flexible. That was a way better way
I
of saying.
can't touch my toes, but I'm very flexible.
So yeah, he's very flexible, and it you know, he will ask me like, okay, what's your day look like? What's the day look like? And then if there is anything that, you know, he needs to do or we need to do, it's like, okay, I need to do this, so where would it fit? Like, so yeah, he's very flexible. That helps a lot. Just because we have to be so regimented and routine, and
Mhm.
that's one thing.
Yeah, because you have non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
It's
of my
just-
stuff is negotiable.
Yeah.
So.
I'd like to say sex, but that does not happen. Like, dry spell for like 3 months straight. And it's
Yeah.
twice as bad when the other person preps.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Well, not really.
Well, not really. You put your arm around her.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
I'm gonna be sleeping in the doghouse. No, like for her, it's just like alleviate having a like she is really good with planning stuff on our like on our trips and stuff. Like even if she's in prep, like she's kind of on point. It's kind of weird. Like she's on point quite a bit, even if she's like
Yeah.
struggling.
She's a
Yeah,
spreadsheet
she's
girl.
a spreadsheet queen.
Yep.
But with her, like my whole schedule, her whole day is surrounded by food.
When we
Like
eat.
when are we gonna eat?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna go to this. Okay, we gotta make sure we're back in 2 hours so we can prep our food. If we're not gonna be back in 2 hours, you know, like or we prep our food if we're not gonna be back in 2 hours. But if not, we can come back home. It's always just like oh, the timing of her next meal, and that's kind of me too. But she's like kind of more like a lot hungrier than I am. She gets a little aggressive if she goes too long without food. So
Fair.
trying to like work a schedule around her food is what.
And your food, because
And my food.
for you, it's like you have so many to get in. If we don't get your meals in, you're
Up
behind.
till like 1 o'clock.
And he's
Oh my gosh.
stuck
Sucks.
eating all night because he has to catch up on his
Yeah.
meals. So I think for us, we've had to really learn how to like be like, okay, we gotta have to do this. What are you doing? When are you eating? When do we need to eat? And it's kind of been a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
For
Communication.
communication.
Yeah.
I would say
That's
like
huge, yeah.
you know what I mean. Like that's
Because then you don't run into a time where it's like, I should have eaten an hour ago, but we didn't talk about it. We didn't plan this.
Right.
So the fact that we communicated and planned it kind of goes back to a lot of the things we've talked about in other episodes. Like planning stuff helps to your partner too.
Yeah.
Because even like, so I'll tell him things like, I need to be back by this time, or I need this by this time. And then we can kind of go about our day and make it work as long as we know the expectations, I guess.
Yeah. No, communication is huge. And I think, you know, you definitely are maybe a little bit less patient through prep and like a little bit more moody maybe as it comes to the end of things. So I think even just letting your partner know, you know, when you come home, hey, I'm like frustrated because I had a really tough day at work, or I didn't get all my meals in, or for me, another one that frustrates me, like I said, is not getting all my cardio done. And so if I come home and I know that I have another hour of cardio to do that I meant to do in the morning, and I come home and I say, oh, you know, I'm super frustrated because of this, it's always super important to kind of let your partner know where you're at, because then at least he knows that, you know, because I'm short with him, it's not because I'm mad at him or something to do with him. It's pretty much because I haven't got my cardio done. But that helps at least stop arguments that could happen that don't need to happen. So I think, yeah, communication is a huge one.
And
Okay.
one,
Oh, go
oh yeah. One thing we've done for each other is if something needs done and the other person's busy or like has cardio, we'll do that for the other person. Like if I have cardio after work and we don't have chicken cooked, he cooks all the chicken. And like tonight, he's going to go to the gym after we record. So I'll prep his meals for work tomorrow so that when he gets home, we can actually go to bed at a good time. So it's like, I think that helps us
Teamwork.
both
That's
be
huge,
less
yeah.
stressed
Yeah.
because we fill the holes to make it when I have a little bit of time, I'll have to see what he needs. And if I'm busy, he'll see what I needs, and we
I love
like kind of
that.
like
Yeah, I love
tag team the
that. I
prep
love that.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That helps a lot of
A
our
lot. That helps a
Probably
lot.
also easier for you guys because you both prep and eat the same stuff. Because I don't know about you, but for me, like, I'm not really trusted to make. Like
No.
I make things for her if she needs something made, but
You've done it. Remember, there's one time I had like a low blood sugar at the gym. Like this was like a
Yeah.
long time ago, 3 years ago.
I've
and
definitely
I
brought her
texted
food
him.
to the gym.
Yeah, and I just texted him out everything I needed, and I was like, "Can you please bring this to the gym? I can't."
I've made some creamies when you've
yeah.
forgotten.
There we go.
Yeah.
There
So
we go.
he can do it, but I definitely am a control freak and rather do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
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 But if I give him instructions, he knows how to.
Yes.
how
Instructions.
to-
Instructions.
He knows how to do
I
it.
found kind of like we were saying. Yeah, no, I definitely probably don't prep the food right. So what we found, like we found a happy medium.
I thought you did. It sounded like you were.
No.
Well, it's like we found a happy medium. So like we'll do a bunch of chicken, but it's gonna be like fairly plain, like not a lot. Like there'll be salt and pepper, like be the only seasoning. So that way, then we can split it up. Like, cause we'll make it for like each other, and we both
Yeah.
take out of it. But then she can
Bulk.
season it
That's what we
and
do.
do the things that she wants to do. And I like sauces because I'm not prepping.
Yeah.
I like regular barbecue sauce. I like regular things that normal people eat. And so like we'll have just a big thing of just basically salt and pepper seasoned shredded
Shredded
chicken.
chicken.
And then from that we can both then make our things, because I found that when you work where I work, there's not a lot of meal choices. So it's just easier if I just bring my own lunch.
Yeah.
So we found that I will just eat basically what she's eating on prep,
But with
but with my
more
own stuff.
fun
But it's
things.
easier for me just to
With
take
your
it to work
extra
rather
kick to
than.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we do it too. We kind of bulk prep a lot of like our main core ingredients, like chicken, rice,
Mhm.
beef,
Mhm.
some of those kind of things, and then everything else, we kind of have our own little stuff, and we kind of just pick and.
Mhm.
But yeah, I kind of probably am harder to prep my actual meals for.
Yeah, she's kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
I think that's some.
I bet
it comes
Steph
with-
is too. They all
I don't
kind
know.
of
I'm being
like.
quiet.
They're all
guys
kind
are
of the
hard.
same a little bit. I'm kind of like hearing the other guys tell their stories, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
They're going through this too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we should
Voluntarily.
start like a support group.
Yeah.
First support group meeting.
Yeah.
And I
We'll
would say,
do
I
our
don't-
own podcast after this.
Okay, guys. Fuck.
I know,
How you doing?
Anthony, I know like you and I talked, I think it was back around like Halloween, like how difficult it can be to keep their heads right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what were you saying? We were saying like, we know how they're going to look, but they can't see it in the moment. We know because we see it from the third person point of view.
Yeah.
And to keep them being like, look, I know you're freaking out. I
Yeah.
know that your weight isn't where it should be. I
Yeah.
know your waist is. I know your glutes, your hamstring, the
Yeah.
tines. They're not there. They will be. Just keep doing what you're doing. Trust
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
He did that. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say he did that. Like, whenever we have those like water retention days or few days or week, like where it's like we just gained this weight, and it's like obviously it's not fat, it's water retention.
yeah.
It's from like, and I will like do this whole like, because you're counting down the clock.
Yeah,
Like you're like,
yeah.
okay, you're this many weeks
It's
out. Like I don't have
stressful.
time for my weight to be this. I need
Yeah.
it to be actually this. And so he'll just be like, you're fine. And he's like, it's just water. It will go away. It takes about this much time for it to go away.
Mhm.
And
And
he's
she tries
just,
to argue with me.
yeah.
And I'm like, you've
You've done this before. You
1,000
know this.
calories. Like,
Exactly
Oh
what-
my god.
there's
yeah,
no.
that's crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
start doing math. I'm like,
Yeah, there's no
it's
possible way you'd
3,500
be
calories
gaining.
in a pound. Like worst case scenario, you got a third of a pound on you.
Yeah.
And then
Well-
the other 2 pounds is water.
That
Yeah.
reminds me of a don't. Don't say I told you so on
Yeah.
show day.
Yeah.
I
When
honestly
everything- when
probably
everything
do a
comes
lot of
together.
things that are don'ts.
Yeah.
Kaylia's a lot easier, I think, than most girls are,
Mhm.
and so I get away
He
with
gets
a lot
away
of
with
that
a
kind of
lot,
stuff.
and I'll just look at him and go, eh. Like, I'm, just like, I'm gonna go do my cardio now. So,
Yeah.
like,
You know, she does have like the moments where she's freaking out that her weight went up 2 pounds, and I'm like, well, it's obviously water. There's no way to put on 2 pounds of fat. But for the most part, she's very easy with that. Like,
Mhm.
and you're making me feel bad. I don't give her prep talks or
No,
pep talks
no pep
before
talk.
she goes out or anything. It's just, yeah, she's pretty easy with all that. So
I'd say one thing that's good. You were Steph were kind of touching on it about like you let him know kind of how you're feeling. I think that's important. So I will, and I don't know if it's like sometimes I feel like it's annoying, but I will like let him know like how my day like I'll like text him before I'm coming home. Like, hey, I'm on my way home, and if I'm having a really bad prep day, I will like be like, hey, today's not a good day. Like I just am gonna come home. I'm gonna make our food, and I need to sit down. I need to eat, and I need to chill. And like
Yeah.
just so like
Mhm.
when I come home, because we have those moments where we kind of snap. Like it's inevitable.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we just get irritable
Mhm.
and tired. And so if I come home and like I'm a little bit on edge and I snap, it's not a personal thing. It's I can't control this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I think just communicating. I think that's one thing
well,
that
and she does a good job of apologizing.
Yes,
when she's
I will.
mean.
yes. If I'm mean,
So-
I'll be like I'm mean, and then I'm like I'm sorry.
Yeah, so-
That was prep Kaylia talking.
which I recognize is difficult to do when you're in prep, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, it
As-
helps a little bit. It takes
for-
the sting out of things.
yeah, for the guys, it would be nice if you would apologize after you're mean to us.
I second that.
And
It's funny.
if he's nodding his head and
Oh.
smiling right now,
Yeah.
I'll be sure to do that.
this is how you know.
Next question. This might apply to Anthony and Lo only, but what's your favorite part about both partners being in improvement season?
Mm.
Oh, going out to eat.
Yeah.
Right now, we
Thick.
both have coaches that have we have really strict plans where we don't have any free meals right now at all, and we're just we miss those kind of I mean, we try to do date stuff, and we have so many social engagements with friends. We end up going to restaurants all the time anyway, but we just bring our food. But I think that's one thing we love doing in improvement season is every weekend we did one meal together, even if it was just takeout at home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was fun. Plus, you both have a little more energy and feel good because right now we're both tired and hungry, and at the end of the day, a really long day.
No time.
I kind of got a question for you guys because you guys, and I know we've talked about it, Lauren, mainly you and I, just how different your guys' preps are. Anthony, you're putting food down, and still when it even comes out. Now, obviously, it's a lot less.
Yeah.
But you're still eating, you're still eating up to a show.
Yeah.
Whereas with the the girls, they're not eating.
Depleting.
They're
It's-
depleting it down.
yeah,
So
we're-
how is that?
It's
different
weird.
for the two
The
of you?
last couple of weeks, I've just been sitting at the I'll sit at the dinner table for an hour, and I'm I think 6 weeks in, and I'm still trying to shove food. I'm having a hard time still getting the food down. I'm still dropping weight.
Yeah.
But her, it's the complete opposite. She's sitting there and just staring at me I wish. The other day she said, "I wish I could take a bite of rice that size, just one time."
He
Just
he
one
uses a
time.
big spoon and is shuffling.
Yeah.
And I'm
gotta
like,
use the big
If I could
spoon.
just shovel, I use a little spoon, a little fork,
It's
and I'm
hard.
can I make
I
this
feel bad.
3 bites?
Yeah.
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 And so it's a different experience for sure. It's not the same thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, each has its own challenges.
Mhm.
It's just what we accepted to do, so we just gotta roll with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So even if he's struggling eating and stuff, and I'm struggling being hungry, it's we're both struggling. So it's we both just have to be supportive of what each other are going through.
I was gonna say I mean, I don't want to bring up any disagreements, but does that ever become a thing we're you're Anthony's oh man, I gotta eat more, and Lauren's wow, I wish I could have that problem.
Oh, yeah. Every
Yeah, what'd you
Yeah,
say the other
that's-
day about starving kids or something?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
don't know.
Can't really, I don't know. I act like I'm having a hard time stuffing this food down.
Yeah.
First world.
First world
issue.
problems.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm
yeah.
every time I feel bad, I'm struggling. I'm you know what? Come on, man. There's starving children.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally tell
Yeah.
myself that.
And I
Yeah.
say, and then there's a
People have
starving
it
bikini
so-
girl in your kitchen.
people have it
Yeah.
so much harder. We
Starving
choose.
child here.
It's,
right.
Yeah.
it's,
right.
it's suffering that we choose to do.
Mhm.
So.
Mm.
I don't think we ever fight over it. I think it's just kind of learning to understand, or just being.
Just a scuffle.
Mhm.
I
Scuffle.
don't think we fight over that really. I think it's more just because it's
You both understand it.
Yeah.
You know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done preps while he's in improvement season too, so even then is even.
Yeah, so I get a lot of questions from, girls I work with and competitors that are new to the sport or are thinking about getting into it, and they've heard horror stories or they're new into it, and so they're experiencing this for the first time, but they're just struggling to share their competing experience with their significant other. Their significant other isn't understanding what they're going through. And so I kind of wanted to, each of us talk about from both perspectives, the female and the male, the competitor and the non-competitor, of just things to be aware of, things to talk with before you decide to compete or decide to go into a next prep. I know, one thing that's important to me is that he always knows, we always discuss when I'm probably going to start prep, when I'm going to probably end prep, and discuss our life and stuff like that. We have an anniversary coming up, and I want to be done with prep at this certain time to then enjoy the later half of the year for him with anniversaries and holidays and things like that. So we discuss that stuff, timeline. If I'm going to start a prep, we discuss when we're probably going to start prep, and are we good, in regards to our work schedules, are we good with our income, because this is an expensive sport. That is a huge factor in doing competing, is it's very, very expensive. And so just making sure that you communicate to your partner of this is what competing entails, this is what it kind of costs, this is how much time I'm going to be taking away from being involved in the family, because you are going to be taking away time, and making sure that there's just a realistic understanding of what it consists of, and that you both are all in, not only you as the competitor, because it is a selfish sport, it is, but making sure that your significant other understands that as well and is ready to be like, okay, she's going to be here, she's going to be away from home a little bit more, we're going to be spending some extra money on this rather than, XYZ. I don't know. What are other things that you think would be good to
I think,
discuss?
and this is coming from a place of, again, not knowing anything about bodybuilding, not even really, honestly, not even realizing it was a sport and as athletic as it is, being comfortable with your, and in our case, our significant others, sending pictures of themselves or their check-ins, they're in a bikini, they're sending it in a lot of cases to a male coach, so sending pictures of themselves in little clothing to another man who you've never met, and I guess in certain cases she may have not ever met in person, like they've talked Zoom, FaceTime, whatever the case may be, text, but they might not have met in person. Just being comfortable and understanding it's like, no, this is part of the sport, this is part of what has to get done in order to achieve a certain goal, and understanding that it's from a professional standpoint. It's not she's sending pictures. She's not Snapchatting this guy.
No,
These
in
are
our poses.
yeah. These are photos that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
needed for them to succeed.
To
and just
assess your physique
being
and things
comfortable
like
with
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
And being comfortable with it.
And I would add that over time, you will develop a more clinical observation of it as well. Like when you don't know anything about it, you just see hot chicks in bikinis.
Right, 100%.
But you get a couple of years in, and you're like looking for specific bikini criteria,
Yeah.
and so it does get easier to see how a coach could have a very clinical, sterile perspective on your wife in a bikini.
Yeah, well, this is my first male coach, and I remember when I first was interviewing coaches, I was like, do you care if I have a guy coach?
Did you ask me that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how much he cared.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you get used to it. I mean, you understand it. It's just a professional sport. And it's just kind of a part of the process. You do kind of, if I didn't know anything about it, I'd probably I'd be a little skeptical. Like, hey, what's going on here?
It was a little weird at
You know?
first.
Yeah,
A little weird
yeah.
at first, but
But you just realize it's kind of a part of the process. And I mean, honestly, I was kind of like, I was excited that she had a male coach, honestly. Just because, like, he just, sounds like somebody that really knew what he was doing, and knew what to look for. And I'd just want her to be in the hands of somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I thought of something too. Like, you guys obviously were married even before you decided to be a competitor. Was it like a decision you guys made together, or did you decide to want to do it and be like, hey, Ronnie, guess what?
Yeah. Well, he has always been into like fitness and whether I think jiu-jitsu, that's what you and MMA. So you did boxing and fighting and all that. I'm butchering this.
She's asking it like it's a question, but she knows it's all true.
Yeah, okay. So he's always been in the gym. He's always trained for his sport, and he's competed. So he and I didn't have, in my high school and young adult life. I met him at 19. So we've been together for like 14 years. And so in my young adult life, I didn't have that. I wasn't into the gym. I just worked. I was really obsessed with work. And so that was like what I did was work and my career. And so when we met, I kind of he definitely influenced me more to be more active and healthy. And then I'm not the type that's going to be doing jiu-jitsu and boxing and all that stuff. But I started, going to the gym more. Like, I honestly started doing, those like Beachbody, like Insanity and P90X. And like, I honestly, like, that's where I really started with stuff like that. So just being more active and like kind of working out. And then as I then went from that into the gym, then it's just that evolution of fitness fitness kind of, and I
Mhm.
started seeing other competitors in the gym, and I learned about bodybuilding, and then I brought it home to him and was just like, so what if I actually, it's a lie. My aunt, I had an aunt that did competing, so I watched her whole journey online, and I was like, oh, if she can do that, I could do that. Like I know her, and I just
Yeah.
watched this whole real life transformation. I can do that. So then I brought it to him, and he was like, heck yes, you can, and he was all in
Oh,
for it.
that's
Like, but that's
awesome.
because like.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Look perfect.
So he was like been a supporter since like day one.
That's
like
awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
he
that's cool.
encouraged it the whole
That's
time.
cool.
Yeah.
How about for you guys? Was it like, did you compete
I
at
was
all before?
No, I was competing before we met
Mhm.
because it was through school. So I think I was maybe at my second or third competition. He actually drove up. I was doing the Vancouver Pro. No, Vancouver Pro. I was an
Mhm.
amateur athlete. I was doing the Vancouver amateur show. And he actually drove up to see my show. And so
Mhm.
that was one of the first times we weren't even dating then. No, we were
Yeah,
not
no.
dating yet. We were not dating.
That was quite
So
the
that
weekend.
was one of the biggest things that he did for me that led to us dating. So
met
yeah,
met your mom, met your aunt.
yeah, he was
and
all in.
saw my
He
first
was
bodybuilding
all
show on the
in.
same
Oh,
weekend.
wow.
He was
Dang.
all in. Yeah,
That's a big weekend.
right. Yeah, he was all in. So
Mhm.
I think yeah, and he was super supportive in terms of like when I got off stage, things that we wanted to work on for the next show, and that's maybe where your kind of athletic background came in terms of just preparing for the next and improving. And so yeah, he was just all in after that, and then the rest
Yeah.
is history.
Because I mean, for me, I don't have any siblings in my family. I was really the only one who played sports at a high level and at a really competitive level. So growing up, everybody was all about me. It was
Mhm.
always supporting me, showing up to my wrestling matches, showing up to the football games, getting me to practice, getting me to the camps.
I
And so
forgot
it's
about
such
that, yeah.
for me, it was, I was never the cheerleader. And so it's kind of a cool turn to now be the cheerleader and
Yeah.
be that support level and use the things that people did, my family, my friends, what they did for me, be able to now turn around and give that to her. And it's kind of fun not to have the spotlight on me anymore. So
Take the pressure off.
Less
yeah,
stress.
yeah, I don't have to. I'm the one who can, just facilitate things and
Mhm.
make her life as easy as possible as much as I can. So it's kind of a fun little turnaround for
Yeah.
me.
I forgot you said that. Yeah, earlier in our relationship, you always talked about how you loved kind of just cheering for me and doing things to make sure that I was my best. So
Yeah, and I'm not
That's
gonna
awesome.
lie, when Kaylia was there in New York when you got your pro card, I don't think I was sitting next to you. I think I may have been sitting next to Cody or Corey at the time, but like my heart was racing. Like when
Yeah.
she got on page, like I don't know if I know she was nervous, but I felt like I was just as nervous sitting there.
yeah.
Like my heart was racing. Like when they're doing the call outs, I'm like, all
Oh
right,
my gosh.
like
Shit,
64,
man.
64, like whatever number. It's
Yeah.
like, they go up the number chain and it's like, okay, we're right there. And then like they call and like your heart just drops. And like to me, it felt like, I'm sure like Ronnie, like when you win a match, like that feeling you get, just that feeling of relief. Like
yeah.
when I won a wrestling match or when we won a big football game, that feeling of like,
Everything
oh,
came
thank
together.
God we did it. Like
Yeah.
all that hard work finally paid off. Like
Mhm.
I know she had it, but like I felt like I had it too.
Mhm.
Even
We
though
did.
Yeah.
'cause,
Yeah.
like,
I,
you guys,
like she
like,
had it. It was like, well, we everything that she's done and we've been through together. It's like we got
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
it's very much the same as watching a friend have a fight,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you're like, you're watching them like walk out to the cage and they're like being all calm and stuff, and
Mhm.
and you're just your heart's beating all fast, and then I'm in the back with Kaylia and she's like just relaxing and running through her poses and
Mhm.
staying calm, and I'm like, my heart's racing.
Yeah, let's go.
Like you're more nervous than they are
Mm-hmm.
to
Mhm.
watch them compete. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've
Nailed it.
done shows like together and stuff, and it's kind of like it's interesting when we go to the same show. We've actually never competed on the same day. The shows we've done together, we've competed like 2 days apart.
Oof.
Like one of us will compete on Friday and one on Sunday. It's been kind of split, but at the same time, it's not like when we go to those shows, it's not like, oh, it's my weekend or it's his weekend. We kind of have to like both be the helper and both be the
Mhm.
Share the weekends.
The-
festivities.
the person. But it's been super exciting, like, because when we met, we were both already separately going in bodybuilding, so just kind of like, oh, cool, you're doing the same thing as me. Oh, you have the same goal as me.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of cool to just align that way. But we really very much like North Americans 2021, Anthony got his pro card a couple days before I even went on stage. And I still felt like the whole weekend was a win, even though I didn't get mine that weekend because of his win. So it's just kind of cool to do that together. And then literally, like when I got mine 4 weeks later, our celebration dinner, had a pro debut. He was planning a few weeks later, so he's literally at like my pro card winning dinner, like eating out of Tupperware at an Italian restaurant, eating like chicken and
not
rice. So
Not fun.
it's kind of been a different experience, but
Yeah, you just gotta share each other's wins and just realize you're not gonna always be in like the same exact space at the same time. I don't know. It's all part of the journey. It's fun. Whether you're a spectator, because just like what Zach was saying, like, oh man. Dude, like it's almost like worse for me to be out there than it is for me to be up on stage. Like I get so freaking nervous waiting for that number to be called every time, and it's rough. But like, yeah, I feel like I share in their success or her success.
Yeah, when the judges aren't moving them, you're like, move them, move them.
Yeah.
Get her to center.
It is really hard. Like as you learn more about the sport, like you look back and you're just like, wow, she looked terrible.
Yeah.
I thought she looked perfect at every show she's ever
That's
done.
so
And now
funny.
I'm looking at her and I'm like, yeah, just not good.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's Ronnie's humor.
but it's cool because you guys have all seen like each of us improve over the years.
Yeah.
So
Hugely.
that's kind of cool.
Hugely. Wouldn't trade it.
So, do any of you guys have like any like summary of like just kind of like or any like last thoughts on like your experience of being with a bikini competitor, married or dating or
Last words on your podcast debuts.
Go ahead.
Those are right.
Yeah, I mean, just be nice to your husbands.
Oh my god.
that's your experience.
That's funny.
I
That's
love
Ronnie's
it.
takeaway.
That's his one takeaway.
That's the
Be
best
nice.
one.
Well, like you were saying, like a lot of girls have trouble with their husband doesn't want them to compete, and so just be nice, and then it won't be a bad experience, and they'll want you to compete.
Well, I think be involved too. Like you're involved. Like I include like,
It is easier to make sacrifices if it's something that you're doing together.
yeah, if you and if you understand what they're going through. So like ask questions. Like ask them, how prep is. Like ask them. Like be curious about what they're doing and try to share. Yeah, you're not doing it with me, but like you ask questions. Like you ask about my updates from Paul. You ask about like how the gym was, and you ask like when I watch Arnold and Olympia and pro shows, like some of the times he's watching it with me and like we're talking about it. Like he doesn't compete at all, and so but he's still like invested and involved, and so
So I guess husbands, be nice to your wives too.
yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Who said be involved? Yeah, totally. I mean, just I don't know. Like bodybuilding is like that one thing where like you can be older. You don't have to just you can be in your 30s and 40s and still continue
be
to
very
be. And
competitive.
I have to say it's a team sport.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I know it's an individual sport, but really when you look at it when it comes to like couples and relationships, it's just like it really requires like a team because I mean I am significantly more successful when I'm competing when I have her support, and I at least feel like I might help her in her successes as well because if you're not like working as a team together, it's rough. Like I mean, I'm sure you guys probably know because there's a couple of spats here and there, and that's can be really draining with stress and cortisol and just like it's the last thing you need when you're already hungry is to be in a fight with your partner. You know what I mean? So just be a teammate.
I like that.
Yeah, we use that phrase a lot. Like you're my teammate. We're
I
on the
love
same team.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know. I guess the biggest thing is because we've been through all aspects. Like, you know, when we started dating, we were in school, and that was with her starting out, and so it was like, you know, jewelry, like you guys said on the previous pod, like jewelry from Claire's, the gold
Yeah.
bikini, like, you know, we made it happen. We made do with what we had, and then, you know, getting her pro card, and just, yeah, like you guys said, just being there and being part of the team,
Evolving with them.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you just kind of seeing them grow through the sport and just being there and helping out. And yeah, like Anthony, like you said, you're gonna have the bad days, the days where they, you know, sent the check-ins code, and the coach was like, well, and they upped the cardio, or they cut the carbs, and they're gonna have those days, and you're just like, all right, I guess we're gonna get through it.
Or
Yeah.
days where they say, "Oh, I'd rather just not get any food instead of doing cardio," and then
Mhm.
the coach gives them no cardio and no food, and then they're like, "I regret this immediately."
And then him reminding me, you asked for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, it's a good experience overall, though.
I would say overall it's a good experience. I mean,
Mhm.
it's definitely as she's grown through the sport and meeting you guys. And I mean, look where we're sitting today. I mean, 5 years ago, we were sitting in Portland in a classroom,
Yeah.
and now we're all sitting down here and hanging out, and just came back from Utah together. And
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us were in
all of
Utah.
us. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the guys came and
All of them.
supported
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
It was a big group effort.
It's
All
amazing. Yeah.
7 of us, because Cody was there too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 The whole
Squad.
gang.
Whole squad.
Yeah, but well, I want to say thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
answering
having
any
us.
questions that people had and wanted to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And thanks
Mhm.
for being my bikini boyfriend.
Right, there you go.
Husband.
I think we should get a prep update from Anthony.
Yeah.
Last thing, because he is in prep.
Yeah, there
When's
you
the
go.
show again?
It's June 22nd, I believe, in South Florida.
So, yeah,
Woohoo.
Let's
8.5
go.
weeks out. I
8.5
feel like I'm
weeks.
actually kind of in front of it for once, so that's
Yeah,
a good
good.
sign.
Nice.
And he's looking shredded.
Yeah.
Well,
Healed.
Zach.
It's hard to
Dice.
tell, though, 'cause it all
Right.
looks so good.
That's good support right
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Thanks for asking.
so he's even supporting all together.
Right, there we go.
Support group started.
Yeah.
I don't know, the bodybuilding, like I said, because I wasn't really familiar with the sport, like, the bodybuilding guys still blow my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
Yeah.
just-
absolutely.
It's crazy.
How big the human body can get.
Yeah.
It is so impressive to me still.
You see him on stage, and it's different. Like to see it on TV or YouTube. Or
Oh,
whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
And then to stand next to him, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
a big fella.
Yeah.
I have a shadow,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Big
casting
fella.
a shadow.
Cool.
Okay. Well, if there's anything that you guys want us to touch on more, if you have any questions for us, if you ever want to see the boys on again,
Yeah.
let us know, and we will be back. I actually don't. Is next episode 10?
Yeah.
Next
Double
episode is episode
digits.
10.
Woo!
We made it. So we don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll
2
let
months
you know.
in.
Yeah, there we go.
2 months.
2 months
There
in.
we go.
All right.
Leave
Cool.
comments, message us on Instagram,
Yes.
anything. Let us know if you liked this, and
Mhm.
like, subscribe, follow all the places, and we'll see you on episode 10.
Episode 10.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.